Place your hands on your thighs and close your eyes. Descend your thighs. With even and equal weight, your two sitting bones lengthen up through the front of your body. Have your shoulders directly over your hips. Press your shoulder blades into your back ribs to lift your chest. Soften your neck and throat. Release your jaw. Rest your tongue into the base of your mouth. Take slow, even breaths. And then gently open your eyes. Extend your legs forward. Dandasana. Press your hands down, lift your chest, roll your shoulders back. And then take your legs wide into Upavisthakonasana. Press your thighs into the floor. Stretch the backs of your legs, have your toes pointing towards the ceiling. Then reach underneath your right knee. Bring your right leg into Baddha Konasana. Oh, that's my real leg. Yeah. There we go. Then lift it up into Mrityasana. Hold onto the leg to lower the grip at the top of the thigh. Then bring it back to Virasana, even if you're leaning a little bit. And then Upavisthakonasana. Bring the left leg in, Baddha Konasana. Mrityasana. Pull the knee in. Virasana. Upavisthakonasana. All right, let's go. Baddha Konasana. Mrityasana. Virasana. Upavisthakonasana. 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 Baddha Konasana, Marityasana, Virasana, Upavista Konasana, Baddha Konasana, Marityasana, Virasana, Upavista Konasana. Press your thighs down, spread your toes, lift up. All right, come over to your hands and knees. Spread your palms, tuck your toes underneath, come up into Ardha Mukha Svanasana, downward facing dog. Press through your fingertips. Push your thighs back. Try to lift your forearms off the floor, further away from the floor, I should say. They shouldn't be on the floor to begin with. And then move your chest towards your thighs. So this morning I did a hip workout right before this class, and my hands are really sweaty. It makes it very difficult to stay in this pose. All right, so I need to put more weight back in my legs. All right, and come back up. Take a blanket and fold it so you have a half folded blanket. And you're going to lie back with your hips on the blanket. Keep your left leg down and lift your right leg up. So the left leg is straight. Keep the toes of the left foot pointing towards the ceiling. Yes. Then you can take your arms over your head. Pull your abdomen in. Extend through your left heel, left big toe. Now keep the left leg where it is. Take the right leg over to the side. If you hit the wall, move away from the wall. So you're using the strength of your legs and your abdominals to keep the leg lifted. At the same time, lift from the outside of the right hip. So that buttock pulls in. Lift your right leg back up. Lower it down to the floor. Stretch through your hands, stretch through your feet. Get longer. Lift your left leg up. Keep your right leg rolled in so the toes are facing the ceiling, they're not rolling out. Straighten both legs, especially if you're flexible. Yeah. Then, keeping the right leg where it is, take the left leg out to the side. Squeeze the outer left hip. Keep the leg lifted so it doesn't pull you over. Your right leg might get a little lighter than it was, but it should still be pressing towards the floor. Come back up to center. And lower that leg down. Stretch through your hands, stretch through your feet. Roll to your side. Come back up into Adho Mukha Svanasana. Downward facing dog. Stretch the backs of your legs, stretch your shoulders. Walk your hands back towards your feet, Uttanasana. Take your hands out to the sides, onto your fingertips or on the blocks. Descend your torso. Lift the backs of your legs, lift the fronts of your legs. Place your hands on your hips, elbows to the ceiling. Inhale, come all the way up. All right, you'll need 2 blocks and a wall. And then when you have found that, you'll have to measure the length of your leg. So you'll lift your left leg up and press your left heel into the wall. And then when you've found that length, you can lower the left leg down and wait in Uttanasana. Be on tall blocks for the first one. So this Uttanasana is legs together. The hands are far enough forward that the wrists are under the shoulders. All right. Now lift your left leg up and press your left heel into the wall. Yeah. Now you can take your right hand and see if your sacrum is level. Most likely, it's your left leg that's dropping down, but it's not necessarily the case. Then take your outer right hip back towards the wall, so it's not creeping towards your right shoulder. Look towards the front end of your mat, if you're still on a mat, or just look a little forward. Then take your right arm forward. Turn your palm to face towards your head, that side of or that side, right? Not like this, but not towards the floor, not towards the ceiling, and not towards the opposite wall. But those were the 3 options. Then take your right arm down, press your left heel into the wall,
Take your outer right hip back and lift your left arm up. Or not. Now, Marcia, the arm can lift up and be out to the side too. It doesn't have to go forward. Then lower your left leg down. And your arm back, sorry, I missed that part. Take a breath here. Now lift your right leg up, press your right heel into the wall. See if the sacrum is level on this side. Chances are you'll have one side that is less level than the other. Look towards the front of your mat or just a little bit forward. Take your outer left hip back and suck it in. And then lift your right arm up. Or not. Oh wait, that's the same. Oh, I'm sorry. Oh well. I started on the harder side because it was easier for me to look at the camera. All right, go to the easier side. Left arm up. Keep taking your outer left hip back, lifting your right thigh. And then take your left hand down, take your right leg down. Take a breath here. Take the blocks a little wider than shoulder width, not too much. Let's see, which leg do we lift first? We lifted the left leg first, so place the left leg at the wall. Then you're going to turn to the left. So turn your toes 90 degrees. Suck your outer right hip in, so it's pulling in toward the left, I guess. Then take your left hand onto your hip and follow the turn of your leg. So you're Ardha Chandrasana. Then lift your left arm up to the ceiling. Roll both shoulders back. Turn both legs out. But really pull in from the outer right hip. Take the left arm, turn the palm towards the head, and take it out over your head. Then turn your torso and your leg at the same time towards the floor, so you're back into that other position. And bring your hand down to the block, bring your leg down to the floor. Lift your right leg up. Turn your right leg 90 degrees. Take your right hand to your hip and turn your torso 90 degrees. Suck your outer left hip in. Keep both legs straight. Keep pressing with the right heel into the wall. Rotate your shoulders and possibly lift your right arm. Then turn your palm towards your head and take it out over your head. Then turn your leg and your torso at the same time towards the floor. Bring your right hand down. Bring your right leg down. Lift your left leg up. Press your left heel into the wall. Suck your outer right hip in and lift your left leg up. So it lifts from the thigh. When I say lift it up, I don't mean higher up the wall. I should be more clear. So lift the thigh up, but keep the heel where it is. Now, take the right arm forward alongside your ear. Then turn to the right. So now you're in a twist. Keep pressing with the left heel. Turn more and more. Suck the outer right hip in, take it away from your head, and then lift your right arm up. Bring your right arm alongside your ear again, turn towards the floor, bring your right hand down, bring your left leg down. Lift your right leg up. Press your right heel into the floor, into the wall. Take your outer left hip back. Lift the right thigh away from the floor by pressing the heel more and more. Take your left arm forward. Turn to the left. Keep your left thigh moving back. Your right heel pressing into the wall. And then you can lift your left arm up if that's possible for you. Into Paradrita Ardha. Bring the left arm alongside your ear. Lower back down towards the floor, or turn towards the floor. Take the left hand down, take the right leg down. Keep your heels where they are, place your hands on your hips, and come up to Tadasana. Shoulders back, put the weight into your heels, lift your quadriceps. All right. So we're going to do that whole series again. And you can decide whether or not you use the wall for balance. All right. So all you would have to do, since you kept your heels where they are, you can just keep them where they are and do that again. Or you could just step a little bit forward. So this is like intermediate. So you would be on your toe. All right. And then if you really want balance work, no wall. All right. So pick what you want to do. And bend forward, put your hands in the box. Feet together. And see if I can remember it all. All right. Lift your left leg up. So whether or not you have the wall, you're still trying to extend your heel back and lift your left thigh up. Now take your outer right hip towards your left foot. Then extend your right arm forward. The palm is facing in. Yes. What? All right, then lower your right arm down. Lift the left thigh, suck the outer right hip in, and lift your left arm up. This will be a little easier if your blocks are wider apart from each other. So if you have a hard time with this one, try taking your right arm to the right. If it's easier, keep it in line with your foot. Lower your right arm down. Lower your right leg down. Take a breath here. Or left leg down, whatever it is. I'm even doing the same side as you guys, and I'm still like, no, screwy. All right. Take a breath here. Look slightly forward. Lift your right leg up. Lift your right leg up from the right thigh. Take the outer left hip back. Keep both legs straight. Then extend your left arm. And you can always go out to the side if you're having shoulder pain or it's harder to balance. You can take it kind of into goalposts. Sometimes that's easier on the shoulder. Keep your right thigh lifted, take your left hip back, lower your left arm down, lift your right arm up. Extend from your fingertips to your toes, getting taller. Then lower your right hand down, lower your right leg down. Take a breath. All right, Ardha Chandrasana. Lift your left leg up. All right. Turn your left leg to the left, so your toes are turned out 90 degrees. Take your left hand to your waist and turn your torso. Now this is harder on a tall block. So oddly, it's harder to balance on a tall block than it is a shorter block. So turn your torso up. Take your outer right hip back towards your left foot. Keep your left leg lifted from the inner thigh. Rotate your chest and possibly bring the left arm up. Oh, we didn't take it forward. Sorry. You should have taken it forward. I missed something. I knew I would. Take it forward towards the head side and then take it up. It'll make sense why we do that in a little bit. All right, just not balancing on this side. Then turn yourself towards the floor again. Bring your left hand down, bring your left leg down. Take a few breaths here. Lift your right leg up. Turn your foot and your hips to the right, so the bottom half is turned to the right. Take your right hand to your waist, turn your chest. Lift your right leg from the inner thigh. Take your left hip towards your right foot. Then, take your right arm over your head. So extending out like a Virabhadrasana 3 arm. And then lift it up towards the ceiling in Ardha Chandrasana. Lower your torso and your leg towards the floor, bringing your right arm down, your right leg down. Take a few breaths into Uttanasana. Lift your left leg up. Take your outer right hip back. Lift from the left thigh. So you want your pelvis pretty much level, although we're going to turn and it's going to get a little off. Take your right arm forward. Turn to the right. Then, if you're stable, lift the right arm up and come into Parivrtta Ardha Chandrasana. Keep taking the outer right hip back and lift from the top of the thigh of the left leg. Take the arm forward, the right arm forward, turn towards the floor, bring the right arm down, bring the left leg down. Take a breath. Lift your right leg up. Keep lifting from the thigh. Take the outer left hip towards the right foot. Take your left arm forward, then turn to the left. Extend from your toes to your fingers. And if you have your balance and have the shoulder flexibility or the torso flexibility, turn to the left. More and more, lifting the left arm up. Take the left arm forward, bring it back down to the block, bring your right leg down, place your hands on your hips, come all the way back up. I got a little sweaty, that's fun. Okay, all right, I need a drink. So we'll try to put all of those together. We'll see how it goes. So we're going to stay all on one side, and we'll go from, what? Left leg is not balancing today. Ardha Chandrasana, Virabhadrasana 3, low. Should show it on my good side. Ardha Chandrasana, Virabhadrasana 3, Ardha Chandrasana, Uttanasana. Yes, it's going to be fun. Or not. Okay. The taller blocks, so I'll talk a little bit about the blocks. And you can still use your back foot at the wall. If you start feeling pinching in the hips, then go slower and put your foot down between moves. Because, let me see if I can show. So if when you're doing this, whoops, maybe like this. When you're doing this, if you start leaning, so I'm leaning, leaning, then it can get a little harsh in the hip. All those movements. So if you put your foot down, if you're doing Ardha Chandrasana, and then you put your foot down, and then you do Virabhadrasana, and then you put your foot down, and then you do, it's a little easier on the standing leg hip. All right, let's get started. I'm gonna lower my blocks a little bit. It makes Virabhadrasana 3 harder, but it helps me with Ardha Chandrasana. You can choose height of blocks, wall on the wall. Lift your left leg up. Rotate to the left. Bring your left hand on your hip. Whoa. Okay, neither leg is working. Turn to the left. Take your left arm overhead. Up to Ardha Chandrasana. Really squeeze your right leg in. Take your left arm overhead. Turn towards the floor. Virabhadrasana 3. You can try lifting your other arm. Lower your left arm down. Turn to the right. Keep your right arm forward. And then lift your right arm up. Take your right arm forward. Lower it down to the block. Lower your left leg down. It's like Iyengar flow. Lift your right leg up. Suck your left hip in. Turn to the right. Take your right arm overhead alongside your ear. And then possibly straight up. Then bring your right arm alongside your ear. Turn towards the floor. Possibly lifting your left arm up. Virabhadrasana 3. Then lower your right arm down. Keeping your, I keep on moving it to my hip. Keeping your left arm forward, turn to the left, and lift your right arm up. Left arm. Who knows? Lift an arm up. Take your left arm over your head, turn towards the floor, take the left hand down, take the right leg down. Place your hands on your hips, come all the way to standing. Come to Tadasana. All right, hopefully, oh, we had somebody drop out. Hopefully you found that as difficult as I did. I hate to be alone in this. All right, Prasada Padottanasana. Take your feet wide. Hands on your hips, elbows back. Exhale, fold forward. Bring your hands onto the floor. Walk your hands back, lower your head towards the floor. So use this as a reset. Walk your hands forward, lift your chest. Bring your hands on your hips, come all the way back up. All right, Shirshasana, or whatever you do when Shirshasana is named. So, head balance, or you could repeat the last pose. Prasarada Padottanasana. If you didn't rest your head onto something last time, I would rest your head onto something this time. So even if you're using a block, otherwise, Shirshasana. Press your forearms into the floor. Keep your neck soft. Notice if you have any kind of horizon, the baseboard of a wall or the floor. Some floors have, if you have a wood floor or something like that, it'll have slats. And see if you're looking evenly on the floor. And in this pose, can you suck both outer hips in? So that was kind of the work of the poses we just did, was to suck the outer hips in. We only did it one leg at a time. And bring the thighs back, but the heels a little bit forward. All right. Kathy, feet towards the open door. Yes. Come down. Rest in child's pose. All right, come up and look at your screens for a minute. So just when you thought you were done with Virabhadrasana 3, this is a very unusual version of Virabhadrasana 3. So the hands go at the wall. I'm keeping my right leg down. And rather than taking it back, I'm gonna take it to the side like a dog. All right, and I'm gonna lose something, but so that's option one, is to take, is push your hands into the wall, take the leg to the side. If you want to ease the load a little bit, do it more like a dog. So the leg will be bent. This is a harder load than this, all right? Option two is to figure out how to get up into handstand. And then take the leg to the side. And you can also do this. This is actually probably the hardest one. Yeah, it's probably the hardest one. All right. Pick one of those. So that should leave something for everybody. Yeah, and then lift your knee up, Chaya, as high as you can. Yes. And you're gonna feel some work in your outer hips. Yeah. Yeah, that'll work too, Martin. Think more knee toward in line with the hip than up and back. Yeah. Karen's having some internet problems. Remember to switch sides because it's hard to stay there for a while. Yeah. Yep. Try it. There we go. Yep. And so far, you can take your leg. You can take your leg out as far as you can. I mean, you're trying to really get into Ardha Chandrasana. This morning, Kathy was on first, and she was asking what I was doing this weekend, and I plan on doing this Carrier Worko Make Your Own workshop. And you can come down if you want. And one of the things she taught ages ago was this weird entrance into handstand where I can't do it anymore. So you have a leg on the wall like this. So this is the way my legs look. And then you lift this leg up somehow. And then you bring it up into handstand. Like I said, I can't do it anymore. But anyway, I started thinking about it and I was like, okay, well, what do I need other than, more ab strength to do that? And so I was working on this kind of stuff. But this kind of stuff is over. So, lie on your belly. Actually, no. We're going to do something a little more calming first. You can take a block or a whole blanket, place it under your shoulders. And lie back. Your arms can be down by your sides or overhead. Roll your thighs in. Your feet can be together actually, and then you'll know where they are. All right, bend your knees, lift yourself up. Get 2 blocks. And maybe a blanket. Place 2 blocks behind you like this. They could be on medium height, but we're going to start in cross-legged. So in Sukhasana, lean back. You want the first block to hit you between the shoulder blades, and the second block's for your head. Like this. Again, you could bring your arms out, but this is kind of hard on the shoulders because you're hanging into the joint. Because there's nothing for your arms to rest on. All right. First, try with the high block, and if it absolutely doesn't work, then go to the medium block. Pretend I'm talking to you. Yes. It's not as bad as the straight legs. It's a little easier. Yeah, bend your knees though. Yeah, Sukhasana, child. Yes. All right, if you haven't already, change the cross of your legs. You can come up to do that, or you can just change the cross of your legs. Lift yourself up. Actually, since we got the 2 blocks out, you're going to have 2 blocks for your feet, about hip width apart. And you're going to place your feet on the blocks. Now, if your blocks are not cork or if they're wood and you're on a wood floor, you need to put them at the wall. They'll slide. But you're going to do Chaturpadasana with your feet on bricks. So I scoot in as close as I can, lift my hips up, and roll my shoulders under like this. I'm holding onto the sides of the mat so I can press down and roll my shoulders under more. So do that. If you need a blanket underneath your neck, underneath your shoulders, put it there, but don't have it go underneath your neck. It's for your neck. Yeah. Yes, correct. All right, yes. That was a good adjustment there, Suzette. Push your upper arms down, even if your forearms don't touch the floor. See how much you can get your upper arms to press into the floor. You can hold the sides of the sticky mat. You can interlock your fingers underneath, whatever works better for you. They have slightly different effects. . All right, lower your hips down. Push the bricks out of the way. Bring your heels in close. All right, press your upper arms down and point your fingers towards the ceiling. Now this gives you, for this rather than straight arms, gives you a way, it's a little easier access to the muscles in the back to press down on the upper arms. So press the upper arms down, lift your hips, roll your shoulders under, press through your heels, press through your upper arms, lift your chest. And then see how much of the backs of your thighs you can lift up towards the ceiling. Keep the weight even on the big toe and little toe side. Right arm, left arm, pressing evenly into the floor. Look at your ribs, see if they're even to the ceiling. Can't look at your hips very easily. Push down with your heels to lift your hips up higher. Soften your neck and throat. Lower your hips to the floor. Release your arms. All right. Turn to your side. Option one, it's shoulder stand time. So if you're gonna do shoulder stand, you can just start setting up for shoulder stand. So I'm gonna have a blanket under my shoulders. This is option two. And 2 blocks, one at the wall. Now I'm fortunate enough to have a room that has wood floors, so I can just slide. But if you're on carpet or I don't know what else wouldn't slide, you're gonna have to come up and down and measure a lot rather than slide. So this is option one. Setu Bandha, 2 bricks. This brick can be lower to the floor or non-existent. My thighs don't open quite that much. You can have more blankets under your shoulders, but your head is on the floor. All right, so that's option one. Option two is Salama Sarvangasana. And we're going to do Parshva Ekapada Sarvangasana, which looks like that. It goes out to the side. So set up, however you want to set up. And go up. Make sure I'm not the one, okay. I'm not the only one doing shoulder stand. So in either pose, you're going to press your forearms into the floor to lift your chest. And get some power in the pose. Press your forearms into the blankets or the floor. Lift your chest. Extend through the big toe side of your feet. So the thighs aren't rolling out,
Chances are it'll roll out, especially after all the work we've done. Soften your neck and throat. Squeeze your outer hips in. Move your thighs back. Turn your right leg all the way out. Sometimes this pose is done at a 45-degree angle. For those that are still watching and not doing, I screwed up and I'm very close to the wall. And I should be showing this from the side anyway. So you're going to turn your right leg out and take it out to the side. But keep your left leg where it is. So the left leg is not used for counterbalance. You're using your upper arms for counterbalance. So you really have to hug that outer right hip in when you take the leg to the side. Just like we did, bring it back up, just like we did in the very first, it was like a Supta Padangusthasana, where we did it without holding onto the foot. Then turn your left leg as far out as you can, and take it down to the side, as much in line with its own hip as you can. You may not get very far, legs get heavy. And you want it out to the side, like an Ardha Chandrasana. And you can see here, probably what your Ardha Chandrasana really looks like. Then bring the leg back up, reset. Salama Savargasana, we'll go to each side again. Turn your right leg out. Turn it out as much as you can. Take your left leg back and suck both hips in. And slowly lower your right leg to the right. Then bring it back out. Reset. Turn your left leg as far out as you can. And then take it out over to the side. It's like both hips in. And then bring it back up. Reset. Take your legs over your head into Halasana. Press your thighs towards the ceiling. Keep your neck and jaw soft, forehead soft, thighs up, outer hips in. Slowly roll out. Those on a brick, lift the hip brick up, or lift your hips off the hip brick, lower the hip brick to its lowest level and rest your hips on that for a little bit. And then when you've rested there, release the brick entirely. Nose and shoulder stand, coming back up. Come up to seated. Sit in Dandasana. If you needed to sit on a blanket, do so.
Reach underneath your left knee, roll your left thigh out. Pull your left heel in. So from the front, it looks like this. Janu Shirshasana. Press your right leg down, and at the same time, this outer hip has to pull back down towards the floor. So this is the same action we've been working with in the class when we've been taking that outer hip away from the opposite heel when we're standing. All right, turn towards your straight leg. Reach your left arm across your right leg, turn to the right. Then one hand either side of the leg, lift your chest. Grab hold of your foot, or throw a strap around your foot. All right, and then think what happened to that back hip. Is it starting to pop up? Squeeze it in. Lift your chest, pull yourself forward, and come down over your right leg. Notice which side of your waist is short. It's going to be your right side. Now lift yourself up, come back up to Dandasana. Reach underneath your right knee, pull it out to the side. Push your outer right hip down, suck it in, and then turn to your left. One hand either side of the left leg. Now lift up, pull yourself forward over your left leg. Remember your right outer hip. Suck it in. Press your left thigh down. Then your left waist will be a little shorter. So see if you can make your left waist longer. Inhale, come back up. Come back to Dandasana. All right. Marichyasana 3. I had to think about it. Let's see. There it is. Bend your right leg. I have a block behind me for my arms. So just like in the beginning where we pulled onto the knee, do that. It releases the grip in the upper thigh. Roll your shoulders back, lift your chest. Then wrap your left arm around your leg, take your right arm behind. You don't necessarily need a block behind you, but my hand won't reach the floor. So press, you should be able to press down with your right hand to lift your chest. If you can't press down, then get something behind you. Turn more. Use your left arm wrapped around your knee to turn yourself. Look over your right shoulder. Keep both shoulder blades into your back and your collarbones broad. Keep that as you turn to look over your left shoulder. Follow your torso around, come back to Dandasana. Bend your left leg. Hug your knee and lift your chest. Then wrap your right arm around your left leg. Take your left hand behind. Lift up, press down with the left arm to get length in the torso. The further apart your spine is, like the bones of your spine, the more turn you're going to get. At the same time, pull with your right arm to turn more. Bring your shoulder blades into your back so you're broad across your collarbones. And then look over your left shoulder. Keep everything where it is, but turn your head to the right. Then follow your head back to Dandasana. Press your thighs down. All right, so we're going to use head supported Paschimottanasana. So if you have a block, sometimes that's a good head support. If you're really flexible, you'll probably just need a blanket. Also, the block can go, if you want to make it slightly easier, you take the legs a little bit apart, and that leaves you a place for the block or blocks. So if I need more than one block, I'll just do like this. But head support. So press your thighs down. Press your fingertips down, lift your chest. Reach forward, grab your feet, lift your chest. And then pull on your feet. Rest your forehead. Don't let your feet go to sleep or your legs go to sleep. So toes pointing straight up. Even the right one. If your bunions are together, then your feet will be pointing straight up. Yeah. Rest your forehead. Keep pressing your thighs into the floor. Keep pressing your thighs into the floor, but relax your abdomen. Relax all the skin of your face. You can use your arms and legs to keep you deep into the pose. But see if you can have it so it doesn't affect your face. The support on your forehead should help. All right. Lift yourself back up. And it's time for Shavasana. Two very different reactions, I think, to Shavasana. Yep, that's the one I was expecting. So. Press the weight of your body into the floor. Roll your shoulders under. Oops. Stretch your legs out. Turn your upper arms out. Soften your neck and throat. Release your jaw. Rest your tongue into the base of your mouth. Take slow, even breaths. Deepen your breath. Bend your knees. Roll to your side. Lift yourself back up to seated. Take your arms wide, lift your chest. Bring your palms together in front of your heart. Think of something you're grateful for. Namaste.